President Bola Tinubu has pleaded with the aggrieved Nigerians, especially the youth who are planning a nationwide protest over the high cost of living, to shelve the planned action, saying there is no need for it. The president also assured those behind the planned national protest that he has heard their grievances and is working seriously to ensure that all their concerns are addressed. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, conveyed the president's plea while speaking with State House correspondents after his meeting with Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. The minister said that at a meeting with the president, general issues on the country were discussed, and the president said he was working seriously to ensure that the country's economy is placed in a good position. The president saying the protest is not necessary. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a very good thought from the president, pleading that the protest should not be carried out. But one thing is, do we actually need to wait for people to say, okay, we're about to carry out the protest before the right thing will be done? Of course, our president is not new to the country. Even before he came into power, he has his own, what is his prospect for Nigerians, for the masses. Now, you know that the people are hungry, let me put it that way.
Yes, of
There's
course.
hungry in the land, and then they're just saying that an hungry man is an angry man. So now, when you now start telling the masses that the protest is not necessary, what measures have you put in place? It's not having a meeting that matters. We need to start seeing this government working. What we need is a functional government.
So we're not seeing the government work?
Nothing is being done. Nothing is put in place to ensure that this government is functional. When you go out there, you need to see the way people are crying. The other day, I wanted to buy a tuber of yam, and I've been told a tuber of yam is 10,000 naira. You can imagine just a tuber of yam.
I heard they now cut the yam.
Okay,
if you can't buy a full tuber,
so you can buy a quarter. You can see the level we have
gotten.
Just imagine. That's the level we have gotten ourselves into in this country. And it shouldn't be so. So the president coming to tell that you have heard, you have not heard the cry.
From your explanation, it seems like if the prices of goods are not changed in the market, Nigerians do not believe that the president is working.
Fine. Well, whichever way he looks at it, but the point is that the price is not work-friendly.
Because the president said in this particular meeting, he mentioned that he is taking steps already to make sure that he meets the demands.
Probably those steps he's taking are not visible enough. We need a drastic step to bring back the way we used to be before now. Before now, you can buy a tuber of yam for 1,500 naira, 2,000 naira, 900 naira. Yes. So what happened? Why are we able to buy all those things at that time? Why is the economy so friendly as at that time before you coming in as the president? Now you came in, you told us that you're going to make the economy, in a way that everybody will enjoy the government of the day. But we are seeing the other side of it. And then the people are saying, no, enough is enough. Okay. We want to come out and protest. And you are telling them it's not necessary.
Now, what were the people expecting? What were Nigerians expecting? We know the state of the economy before this present administration came into power, right?
Yes.
And we understand that some of these things do not happen overnight. So this present administration has been on for just 1 year. And don't you think that we're expecting a lot within a short time?
No. When you say that we're expecting a lot within a short time, I will not agree with you.
Okay.
Now, the fact remains that even this within a short time, a lot have been achieved on their own side.
Okay, that means you agree that the government have achieved a lot.
No, on their own side. Is it not the other day? The other day it was two private jets were approved for the presidency. We just implemented the new national anthem. All this do not actually take a lot of time. So why is it so difficult for the government to say, no, let us bring down the price of goods and services in our country?
A lot of things have to go in place for that to
whatever,
happen.
Because you are serving the masses.
Yes, but let's look at the factors that are involved with the hike in the prices of goods and services. The removal of fuel subsidy increased the price of fuel.
Okay.
And because the price of fuel has increased, definitely transporting goods from one place, even services from one place to another, will definitely increase.
Now, when you talk
and
about...
then we have insecurity, where farmers and herders have been having clashes. And a lot of farmers are scared of going to their farms, not just in the north, even in the south, in different areas in Nigeria. This is the case. So these are just two. We have the electricity hike, you know, and all of these things that have added to the increase in the prices of goods and services. So looking at these factors now, you see that before all of these things are addressed, they cannot be addressed in one day.
Now, you speak more like as if you're a personal
assistant. No, I'm helping you see. No, hold on. I am. Let me help you now. Okay. I'm a broadcaster. Okay. And I know what's happening in Nigeria. Okay. So when you're talking from one side, I'm helping you see both ends while you make your analysis.
Now look at it now. You are vying for a position, right? Be it a president or governor. Before you vie for such an important position, something must have prompted you to that. Probably must have seen the way things are being done or things are being carried out in the country, and you are not comfortable and you want a change. Now, all this you mentioned as factors, they've been there before now.
True.
Even before this present administration. So the point is, what are the blueprints you have put to the table to ensure that we don't continue in this? My dear, 1 year is enough. 1 year is enough to turn things around. But what we are seeing here, we are not seeing those changes expected.
In this 1 year, things were really turned around.
Yeah, negatively. Negatively.
No, I didn't say that.
No, well, I'm only affirming to what you said.
It was a short period of time, and
you can imagine. Yes. So we did this 1 year.
Nigerians have.
We did this 1 year. You can see what has happened. You know, hunger. A lot of you hear people going out there committing suicide. A lot of people, you need to go out there and see the way people are suffering.
I'm out there.
Yes,
you think I'm not out there?
Yeah, well, but of course you are out there.
We're
I'm sure
out there.
We are out there.
Going on
even
out
transportation.
There. Yes.
Transportation. Now, if you don't have enough, you cannot move out. Now, the fuel subsidy, before now, we have the time of Jonathan, where the subsidy was there. Life was okay. Probably we were living well. Now, Buhari came in. We talk about the removal of subsidy. No, don't remove. We have this fault and back with it. Now you came in and said no, believing that yes, with that those money can be channeled into what? Improving the economy. See, what we are saying is that as Nigerians want a drastic change. Other African countries, there have been a lot of protests, not just in Nigeria. It happens in Kenya. When you go to other African countries, you see that the youth, you understand, they are ready to take over power. They are ready to take over power. So let that what happened before now during the time of ENSAS, let it not happen again.
That's exactly.
So the government need to put things in order so that people can live well.
The government said they are putting things in order.
It's not by paperwork. What we want is... What
do you want to see? What do you expect?
Now, we have different departments. We have different parastatals. We have different ministries that are in charge of humanitarian activities and services. What are all these agents? What are they doing? What measures have they put in place to ensure that, you know, the suffering is reduced, even if it's not to what we expected, but let there be a level of change as regards, you know, the suffering in the land. Okay,
so some Nigerians have asked for relief measures to be taken, at least for now, while we're waiting for the big things to be done, while we're waiting for insecurity to be handled, while we're waiting for hospitals to be put in place and all of those things, that's the high taking off, while we're waiting for all of that. Measures should be taken to reduce the effect of the hardship on the people. Now, I want to tell you some of the measures that the presidency has taken recently, and I want to find out from you now, speaking for the people, if you feel like these measures are measurable enough.
Okay.
Okay, so we heard about the distribution of food products. to different states. We heard the other day that the River State governor told us that he has received ours, and he told us how it will be distributed amongst local council chairman and all of that. That's one. We also heard in the news, even though we've not seen the manifestation of that yet, that I'm not talking about the food stuff now. The food stuff, we've seen pictures, we've seen videos, we've heard the governor say he has received. Now down to the 50,000 naira that the president said would be distributed amongst households in Nigeria. And also down to, please let's note that the food products are for the vulnerable, not for every Nigerian. If you are not vulnerable, you are not in the picture. And then the 50,000 naira that will be distributed amongst households, and the loans that are out there for businesses. Now, looking at these steps that the president has taken now to push on the immediate, emergency measures now, do you think these measures are enough to, put a stop to the protest, at least for now?
Sometimes when we hear on televisions or we listen to radio and we hear government officials coming up with such utterances as regards, it is more like a palliative you just mentioned.
Yes.
Nigeria as a country is over 60 years. And they say that a fool at 40, you know what it means. So I don't think that at this age you should be talking about you are coming to give somebody loan, you are giving somebody rice. So at my age now, you will come to my house. How do you measure someone that is vulnerable? Oh, I am not.
Are you in that class?
I wouldn't know because I don't even know the class we belong to. Because while growing up, let me tell you, while growing up, we have the rich, we have those in the middle class, and we have the poor. Well, you understand what I mean? Not that poor, but you know that, yes. So we have these three classes. But in this case, even the rich are even crying more than the poor. And now you are coming now. Thank God you just said that, even though we have not seen it, but you've heard it. We keep hearing all this. We keep hearing that the government has given distributed rice, they've done this. These are not what we are talking about. What we want
that's
is
what Nigerians are talking about.
what we want is an enabling environment. As I am now, I don't expect you to give me fish. What I expect from you is to teach me how to catch fishes. For how long will you continue to give me fish? Now, by the time how even the River State governor that said, okay, yes, we have received ours. How do they intend to distribute this?
He said to the local council chairman.
Okay, local council chairman that we don't even have. What we have now is caretaker, and there's even crisis among the government of River State. See, we don't need to start modeling issues. All this now pass through.
The local government.
All this now pass through a parastatus. It's not President Bola Tinubu that gave out all these things. It passed through a parastatus. And money was spent on this.
Yes, sure.
But what we are saying is this: provide jobs. Provide jobs. Let there be openings. We have companies. We have federal parastatus. Open up opportunity for young people to gain jobs. You can imagine now. Very soon now, some graduate from university, they don't have any hope of getting a job in the country. So that's what we are talking about. We are not saying give us palliative. We don't need palliative. Nigerians don't need palliative.
Nigerians do not need palliative.
They do not need palliative. What they need is an enabling what? Environment. Where when a farmer goes to the farm, you are sure that yes, no form of attack will come from anyone. Right? When they talk about transportation, whatever is obtainable at city A is obtainable at city B. So that we are talking about enabling environment whereby we can enjoy the dividends of democracy.
A lot of state governors have said that that their youths would not be involved in this protest. We heard in Calabar, it was stated, and some other state governors have said that we're not going to get involved in this protest. NANS has also said that they're not going to get involved in this protest. Some groups are coming out. We heard of the Northern group, one Northern group who came out and said they're also not going to be a part of this protest. Now, we've also heard statements that the protesters are going to face the worst resistance they have ever faced. It was in the news yesterday. So we're wondering what could happen with this protest. And don't you think that we should have a rethink on this protest? With all of the warnings that are coming in.
Yes, for me as a person, when they talk about protest, there's what we call a peaceful protest.
Yes.
Just to make your points, shall you be heard. Now, the government have come to say, oh, I've heard your cries, there's no need for this protest. It took a very long time before government was able to come out, start talking to the youth, because already a date have been mapped for this protest. Now, in Nigeria, a lot of things is obtainable, especially when it comes to protests and all of that. I know that measures will be taken by the government to ensure that it doesn't turn out to be a violence protest. But the youth, you can never say.
Exactly.
You can never say. For me, if the protest will go well, peacefully, there's nothing wrong with it. But then if it turns out to be, of course, violence, that's where it becomes an issue. But since the government have come out to say, well, I've heard your cry, please, we should just give me some time. We have gotten to a point that when our government officials, whenever they come up on air to talk, we see most of those talk as political talks, because they don't hold water.
So you feel this is another political statement? Even though the president has said he's taking steps already?
The president has said a whole lot before now. He has said a whole lot before now. Even when they talk about the fuel subsidy, removal of this, up to them, we've not seen anything. So he has said a whole lot. But let's just watch and see. All I could say is just to appeal to Nigerian youth, just be calm with the government.
Let's look at protests in the past in Nigeria. How effective would you say protests, that word now, in Nigeria has been?
Well, of course, when you look at the Nigerian Constitution and the fundamental rights of an individual, of a citizen, you have the right to protest.
Of course.
You have the right to protest. But of course, having a democratic situation that we are now, I feel that the government will have allowed a peaceful protest. But that's also a way to checkmate you as a government. If you're actually doing well or you are not, and the way you need to also improve. But what we see in Nigeria is that once a protest is pronounced, you see all the security agencies, they are just out there, their antennas are up to see how they will stop it. Or sometimes you see issues of boycotting, just the same way we've heard that same state governors are saying no, their own states will not partake in those protests. Because if you say that your state is not going to partake in such a protest, then what measures have you put in place? So even the NLC, so you talk about strike and all of that, all these are a form of protest. But at the end of the day, nothing.
You think the state governors who do not want their youths to protest should do something?
They should do something.
About the economy.
They should do something about the economy. You understand? So that, because when you say, okay, it's just like a child, a father and a son. Now your son has been complaining about a particular thing, and say, Daddy, after if you don't do this, and you are telling the child, don't go on to do this. You will put something on the table that will make the child to calm down not to do that, right? So that's what we're talking about. So protest for me, as far as Nigeria is concerned, it has a way, if it doesn't turn violence, it will just die on arrival. So that's just the way I look at it.
All right, so we're following this story up, all right? Definitely, it will be in the news. On the 1st of August, we'll be out there to find out what's really happening on the streets of Nigeria. And if the youths have decided to sit back and have a talk, because we have been advised to have a talk with the president, choose dialogue over protest. That's what some of the statements that we've heard concerning this protest has been. But let us get to find out how that plays out. Looking at the next story now,